Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Kuda Education. Today, I want to just do a small modification to the application so that we get a better understanding of what's going on in our transparent layers application. So, for those that aren't familiar, this is our application here. We could actually stop rotation here. We have several window panes, and basically the idea is that we have these window panes are transparent, and we could see behind the closest window pane what's going on behind it. Okay. And it's basically up to about so one, two, three, four, I guess what, 5 layers. I don't think this one counts though, because this is like the default, right? One, two, three, four. Well, five. Well, it's 5 window panes, but outside of our main window, we have four. We have four. Window panes behind it with varying levels of transparency, right? So one, two, three, four, right? Okay, so that's pretty much what this application is. In the previous episode, we went through, the transparency layers, tile size, tile memory, the tile shader, all of that good stuff. And what I want to do in this particular video is play around with this setting right here. So this is the number of transparent geometry layers that the app stores in image block memory. Each layer consumes tile memory and increases the value of the pipeline's image block sample size, sample length property. So we have k number of layers of 4. So that is sort of what the default application came with, right? And basically, it's basically saying that effectively we have we have, I guess, 4 layers of transparency that we are saving to our construct, right? So we have 4 layers of our transparency that we're saving to our construct. But we want to tinker around with that. So instead of it being 4, I'm going to change it to 1. I can't go 0 because then it will crash the application. But I can go to 1. And also know that we're sticking with the order independent transparency. So we're doing the correct processing for the application. So we'll just do that. So let us rerun this application now, and we will see that now notice now that literally when we process transparency, we're only seeing one layer. And actually, the only layer we're seeing is the layer all the way in the back, which is what you would say the default layer, right? It's the initialized layer. And we don't see any other layer in the transparency logic. And literally right here, because this window pane is not, it's not seeing any of the this one back here. We don't see anything. So if we continue to rotate, yeah, we're gonna see that the only layer we're picking up is this one layer all the way in the back. It's the default layer, it's the initialized layer. We're not seeing anything. Now if we increase this to 2, we should now get 2 layers. Okay, so we get the one all the way in the back, and then I guess it's this one here. So notice that the far one over here, we're now getting this second layer here. So the best way to think about it is that it's basically I mean, we have the number 2 here, but it's basically one layer, right? it's -1. So when I do one layer, basically it's just the default layer that we see. When I do one, it's basically 0, which is just the default layer. If I do 2, then it's one of the other layers, and that would be basically this, the layer closest to the first window pane, right? So notice again, even with this one, we see the first window pane, the second layer, and then we don't see anything else except for the farthest default layer in the back, right? You see, we don't see anything. We see the one right behind it, and then the farthest one in the back, right? So that is the sort of how this works. If we go to 3, we are now going to see that we're going to see 3 layers, right? That's what we should see. So we see original, the one behind it, the one behind that one, but we don't see this orange one here, right? So if we just keep rotating, we'll see that we don't see this orange one here. The orange one disappears, right? And this is part of the image block conversation. If obviously we go to 4 layers now, we're going to see all of the layers, right? So 1, 2, and 3. But notice it's faint, but that's natural. It's supposed to be faint because we are we're dealing with transparency, and as you go further and further back, you're going to lose that thing. Notice that we also see our default, right? So the default is always there, right? Even when we go down to 1, we get our default. So the default is always there. So we have this, our orange, and the transparency. And yeah, I'll just rotate it a little bit more for you guys to digest the behavior, right? But then again, if I collapse this back down to 1 or to 2, let's collapse it down, because we're going to get the default regardless, right? If we collapse it back down to 2, we're going to see that we get the default, and then we get the one right behind it, and the other 2 in the middle disappear, right? So, there you have it. Now, I do want to anchor you guys in sort of where this lives. So we are in the AAPL shaders. So we are in the shader logic. This is the tile shader. This is again GPU logic. This is living on the GPU, and it's basically following instructions based on this tile shader. Okay, this particular setting. So let's read it over again. The number of transparent geometry layers that the app stores in image block memory. Each layer consumes tile memory and increases the value of the pipeline's image block sample length property. We touched on image block sample length property in the previous episode, so just look at the label of the video and you will and go to the number before that, and you will see just go to the number next lowest to that series, and you will see the previous video in this series. So let me make sure I put my thing back to the default, right? So we are in the tile shader, and pretty much it is sort of a constant that we have set in our tile shader. Okay, so we are in the samples metal shaders, right? Yeah, I don't really want to dive too deep into this. So that's basically the lesson for this particular video. Okay. There are other considerations that I want to make. The last thing I do want to emphasize, though, is that when we go down to 1 layer, basically, we're just seeing the default layer, which is all the way in the back, right? We're just seeing this blank layer in the back, right? And we will investigate and play around with this initialized layer, this blank layer in the back. Notice that for all of them, even this one here, we have our blank layer here, and the window pane catches that, but it also catches the blank layer on this side, and it doesn't catch anything else, even not even this orange layer, which, and then this doesn't catch anything because it doesn't see any of these layers, except it would see this one, but it's not, behind. I mean, it's not in front of, from our angle of vision, from our camera angle, it's not going to show this layer because it's just not in the line of sight. All right. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show for this video. Got to make sure I put things back to default. And we have a better understanding of this whole idea of image block memory, the transparent geometry layers, and let's read it one more time. The number of transparent geometry layers that the app stores in image block memory. We talked about image block memory. Each layer consumes tile memory and increases the value of the pipeline's image block sample length property. Right? So remember we said that, every pixel, it has a memory of all the layers behind it, which is part of the tile memory and blah, blah, blah. So, when we mess around with this, we mess around with the application's ability to save, to know how many layers to save. All right. This is CUDA Education, guys. This is Apple Metal. Apple Metal is the computer graphics platform for all modern Apple devices. I believe you could run this on Apple devices that have Apple Silicon, right? I don't think it's Metal 4. Metal 4 is the latest iteration of Apple Metal. I think it's just regular. Actually, it could be Metal 4 because of the transparency features, but this is the order independent transparency application. Definitely check it out. Download Xcode, download the application, try and run the application. You might have a minor error when you try and run it initially when you just download the default application from the website. I have the link down below. But basically you just have to change the setting to run locally or something. And then once you run locally, you just press the play button and it should run. And there you have your application. But this is CUDA Education, guys. Support the channel. You guys know what to do. We're learning metal as we go. We have a goal of being, somewhat, very well versed in metal by the end of the year. So we're close. We're basically done with the first quarter, and we have 3 more quarters of the year to go. So hold yourself accountable. Don't waste time. Time is expensive. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.